Okay, my name is Todd Hilton, and in this half, I'm going to be introducing you to a dessert treat that I call one slice peanut butter pie. Now, the reason I call it one slice is because the average person, that's about all you're going to be able to stand. It's very, very rich. It's a lot of peanut butter, a lot of chocolate, and very, very good. So, with that, I've got my mixer out, got the rest of the ingredients next to me here, and we'll get this baby started. All right. First thing we're going to need is I don't know if you call it a cube or a box of cream cheese. This is the regular stuff. It's not the low fat. This is the full fat. I mean, if you're going to do this thing, you got to do it right. You're going to take your cream cheese there, and I've got an electric mixer here because we're going to need it to mix up the majority of our ingredients. Take that out. Now this has been sitting out for a little while, so it's nice and soft. You definitely don't want to have it frozen or actually even refrigerated if you're going to use it right away. Of course, anyone who's made a lot of desserts probably already knows if you got cream cheese in it, it's going to be rich. This is also the main ingredient in like cheesecake, which I love, by the way. This kind of, I guess, has a kind of a similar flavor to it, with the exception of you have it with that peanut butter too. Boy, that is a nasty mess, isn't it? Okay. The next ingredient, very important, creamy Reese's peanut butter. This is the real stuff, folks. This is the good stuff. There's one thing I've noticed: if you're going to make this recipe, just like the cream cheese, you don't want to skimp. You want the real deal here. And also, as I've found, there are only certain places that carry the Reese's peanut butter. Red Apple in St. Helens happens to be one of them. I don't know if it's maybe your smaller grocery stores that tend to have it. I mean, you can find Skippy and Jif and any of those just about anywhere, but the good stuff you got to search for. Okay, now you're going to want 1/3 of a cup of the peanut butter. Now this is going to be approximate. I've never been real picky about how close the measurements are. I mean, as long as they're in the ballpark, that's going to be good. You'd be amazed how far a third of a cup of peanut butter will go as far as the flavor. Because actually, this is only half your peanut butter flavor. You'll see the other half here in just a minute. Okay, peanut butter in. In with your cream cheese. You might even need 2 spoons to get all that out. Okay, 1/3 of a cup of sugar. That goes in. Okay. And we got another 1/3 cup. Cool Whip or whipped cream, whatever you want to call it, as long as it's not whipping cream. This is your probably your universal dessert additive here. Is going to be your close enough. Again, this has been softening too, so it's going to be real close. Okay, that goes in. Okay, this is going to be 1 tablespoon of vanilla. As I've lectured before, this is one of those things where you could get the real stuff, but real stuff is like $20, and this is like maybe 3, 4, a lot more reasonable. If you want to get the real stuff, by all means, go for it. If you can afford a pie to cost you, $25, $30, go for it. Me, I don't have that kind of budget, so we're going to use the imitation vanilla. That's 1 tablespoon. That goes in. Hopefully if I did this right. Just going to get this all mixed up here. Basically what you're looking at here, this is your pie filling. And I also have a special crust just for this pie, which I'll show you here in just a minute. This is, I guess you'd call this the secret ingredient. As long as you're using Reese's peanut butter, you're going to add Reese's peanut butter cups. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, now the usual recipe that we follow for this, because my wife and I have made this probably dozens of times, we usually use the full-size peanut butter cups. But, well, these were on sale, so I went ahead and grabbed those. And actually, these may work a little easier with the recipe, just because of their size, a little easier to work with. And normally, I think you end up using 10 full-size peanut butter cups altogether. So now, what I'm going to do is actually, Mark can get a shot of this here. It's actually recommended that you still cut these. I'm going to cut them in half. The original recipe with the full size cups, you're going to divide them into quarters. I'm going to throw one more in here. Again, this may be something that's kind of up to you, how many you use. Okay, so this is either 5, 6, or 7 of these. I lost count. Too busy yapping, not paying attention. After you get those in there, we're going to go ahead and we're going to let this mix up a little bit more, just to get those worked in. And being their small size, they should actually get mixed up in there. And basically, they'll crumble on you, which is okay, because those get mixed into the pie. And then you'll have your remaining ones go on top of the pie. All right, we are ready for our next step. Almost there. You're going to want to get, this is actually a Keebler chocolate crumb crust. You want the chocolate because, well, it's chocolate. No other way to have it. And if you want to, you can make a crust from scratch, but I'm not quite that talented in the kitchen. So we're going to use the ready-made crust. Take that out of there. And you can find these at your grocery store in with the like your sugar and your cake mixes and things like that. Okay. Now, take this out. Get our rubber spatula here. Okay. Oh yeah. This is the good stuff, folks. Yeah, as I said, every time we've made this, I mean, it goes over real well. It's always been a hit. But again, that's why I nicknamed it One Slice Pie. Because, I mean, you know, it doesn't matter how much room you save for dessert. I don't think I have ever been able to eat 2 pieces consecutively. It's just, it's that rich. Too rich for my blood. Either that or just serve real small slices. But, yeah, next time you're having a get-together, this is definitely a dessert treat to whip up, because it's real easy to make. As you can see, it doesn't take that long at all. Just a few ingredients and just a few minutes to prepare. Now, actually, after you put this together, it is recommended that you put it in the fridge and let it chill for 2 hours or so. Because like any kind of pie like this, where it's creamy like this, you want to let it chill so it basically keeps its composure, because otherwise it'll fall apart. Probably not something you're going to want to serve at a middle of the summer barbecue. And once that's done, go ahead and smooth that out best you can. Like peanut butter pie. Okay. Well, and as you can see too, if you don't let it chill, this is what you end up with. It's kind of a slop. And again, we're gonna add some Reese's peanut butter cups, slicing them in half. And again, however many you use is up to you. I think I used probably 6 or 7 in the mix, and of course they're all chopped up. You get yeah, you could call it Reese's Pieces, you know, inside the pie, and then we'll have our full halves. Full halves? Is that an oxymoron? On top of the pie. I got the moron part right. Let's see if I can get the rest right. Okay. All right, we're now down to our last ingredient, which is getting covered in the peanut butter that's all over my hands, but that's okay. It cleans up. Just a little color here. We're just gonna drizzle a little chocolate syrup on there. There. All right. All right, and that is our recipe for one slice peanut butter pie. As I said, this is something you're going to want to put into the fridge for a couple hours, let it chill. Best thing is if you're going to make this, make it a few hours ahead of time so that it's in the fridge getting cooled and ever so chilled while your dinner's cooking, and by the time you're done with your dinner, this one's ready to go.
And welcome back to the second half of our Just Dessert special. I'm Mark Johnson, and I'm going to be making a wonderful dessert that my sister usually makes at Thanksgiving and Christmas. It is a chocolate pecan pie, and I can see you drooling out there already, folks, because this is really good stuff. About a sliver about that thin, because it'll put you in a coma. If you take a regular slice, it's going to put you in a diabetic coma, folks. Which is not necessarily a bad thing, you know, if you need to sleep. But, you know, hey. Anyway, so we're going to get started with that. So come back and join us, and we'll get started on the crust and then on the filling. So come on back. All right, first thing we're going to do is we're going to get started on our pie crust. And normally you would make, you know, there's a couple different ways to do a pie crust. You can actually make a dough that you actually roll out nice and thin and then flop it into your pan. We're not going to do that. I'm taking the easy way out. Not quite as easy as going to the store and buying a frozen pie crust and tossing it in there. Not quite that easy. I'm actually going to make it, but it's actually what we call a mix and press pie crust. So we're going to get started on that. First thing you're going to need is 2 cups of flour. I just happen to have my handy dandy Pampered Chef adjustable measuring cup. We'll adjust it all the way out to the 1 cup measure. Now, if you watch the first season of Meat and Potatoes, you'll know that Mark usually takes the easy way out, buys, you know, ingredients that are already halfway done for him, but this is the second season, and Mark actually feels like cooking from scratch today. So there's our 2 cups of flour. Okay, we're going to need a half a cup of shortening. So we're going to adjust this into a half a cup. And you'll also need the shortening later on in the show for the filling as well, so you'll want to keep that out. So we're going to combine our flour, okay, we got salt we got to put in here, shortening, and make sure it doesn't stick to your spoon. If it does, well, you know. 1 teaspoon of salt, and again, the old pampered chef. These are adjustable measuring spoons. I love these things. Actually, the first time I've actually had a chance to use them since I got them, so we're going to actually see how they work today. Okay, teaspoon of salt. That goes in there. Okay, always remember to remove the wrapping from your margarine before you put it in there, because otherwise you get that really papery taste to your food, and that's just not what you want. Anyway, I'm Mark Johnson, and I'm an idiot. But hey, that's okay, because I'm an idiot that likes to cook. So now, you're going to take those 4 ingredients. 4, 1, 2, 3, yeah, I can count. And you're going to take your pastry cutter, which is that, and you're going to mix that as best you can. And make a big mess, as my cameraman Todd Hilton would say. Like I said, folks, my sister usually makes this at Thanksgiving and Christmas. I've never made one, so this is kind of an experiment for me. There's 1. And there's 2. Oops, wrong way. Okay, so now you're going to take just a regular old fork, and you're going to mix that water in using the fork. Basically, the recipe calls for mixing this with your fork until the dough is about the size of peas. So please mix it till it looks like peas. So now we're going to take our dough here and make sure we got everything all mixed here. Okay, now we're going to take this, putting it into our pan here, and start pressing it in. This may not look pretty, folks, but it's going to get the job done. So anyway, we're going to set our crust aside here. A half a cup. Is that right? Half a cup of melted margarine, and that's basically a stick of margarine right there. So we're going to melt that. We're going to melt that with our chocolate chips first. Stick that in the pan. Left front, we're going to put that baby on probably about 8.5, just so because this is actually frozen margarine here. I'm going to turn that down to about 6.5 because we don't want to burn it. Actually, we'll turn it down to about 6. We just want to melt it. So while that's melting, since that's partially melted already, I got my Nestle Toll House semi-sweet chocolate chips. 3/4 of a cup is what you need for this recipe. My recommendation is you set aside about another 3/4 to another cup aside from this, because, you know, if you're anything like me, you're going to be dipping into these things. Oof. Or for a recipe. But anyway, so this is just shy of 3/4 of a cup. And we're going to put that into our saucepan. We're going to melt those with our butter. Try not to melt your Tupperware. So you're going to set that aside. Once that's all melted, and it looks like it's pretty well is. I'm going to set that aside. So we got our 5 eggs in there. We're going to beat our eggs with this wire whisk. Please, Master, don't beat me. Oh, sorry. Don't beat me, please. I'm just a poor, defenseless, helpless old egg. And, okay. That's roughly a cup. Okay, so we're going to beat in our sugar. We got corn syrup. Okay, we're up to a cup. Cup and a quarter, cup and a third. Just about. Okay, Mom, I owe you a bottle of Karo syrup. Or at least a slice of this pie. Yeah. And at the very least. Okay, so we're going to pour in our corn syrup.
Not like putting sugar on sugar?
Pretty much, yes.
Yeah.
So, our measurement to 3/4 of a teaspoon. Okay, and then our chocolate chips and margarine. So actually, let's kind of get the sugar broke down a little bit there. Okay, so we're going to dump in our chocolate / margarine mixture here. Now you want to get this all mixed up good. It's all good. Make sure it's all mixed together. Make sure you don't have any yellow egg stuff showing. This is kind of like Todd chopping onions or something. And as you know, I normally don't chop my own stuff, but
chopped pecans are expensive.
Yes. I'm going to add these to our mixture. Process. If you see any that are still fairly good size, you can always chop them before you put them in. And like I said, you'll want to save out some for the top for decoration. Pour this in to our 10-inch pie plate. A few nicer pieces of pecan. And you know, you could go all the way around the edge if you wanted to. I'm not going to, just because it looks like they're about ready to sink as it is. Our oven is preheated to 375. Our pecans have been put on here. And we're going to go ahead and put this in the oven. It's going to take about an hour. Alrighty folks, our pie is ready, so we're going to pull that out of the oven. And as they say back east, viola. I think that's pretty nice. Oh yeah, that's gonna be nice. Nice golden brown crust, as you can see. Alrighty, folks. Well, we hope you've enjoyed our Just Desserts 2, the sequel, here on Nowhere Videos Meat and Potatoes. And we had a wonderful peanut butter pie that Todd prepared for you, and then our grand finale of the chocolate pecan pie that I just got done making, and they both turned out just wonderful. You'll have to try these recipes at home, and we want to thank you all for watching Nowhere Videos Meat and Potatoes, the program that shows you easy recipes for great food. I'm Mark Johnson, and for Todd Hilton, good taters, good meat, good grief, let's eat. Goodbye, everybody.